3, 2, 1.
Hey, y'all.
We're back.
Back in the new year.
Yes.
It's been a wonderful new year so far. Except for the snow.
And COVID. My husband got COVID. Like the second day.
Yeah.
So love that for us. That was fun.
Well, did he have bad symptoms?
Day 1 and 2 were like, he got hit by a bus. This was according to him, though, because I did not see him. I fully quarantined him to our bedroom, and I slept on the couch for like an entire week.
Oh. But
I was also sick, as you know, and I tested 27 times and tested negative every time. Yeah. So I am a medical mystery. So if you need me to solve any crazy diseases, pandemics, I am your girl, apparently, because now that I said that, I'm going to get COVID so bad. You'll be like, Kelsey actually had to quit the podcast because she doesn't have vocal cords anymore because she got COVID. So.
Yeah, COVID has been very mysterious.
Yeah, for sure.
Just kind of doing its random...
She's a random gal.
Walk through town.
That Rona.
But yeah, the cases are pretty bad, but...
It's not funny, but...
We're looking on the upside of life in general, because it's a new year.
It's a new year. It's a new us.
Yeah.
New variant. Just got to keep it on, baby. But yeah, otherwise, the new year's been fine.
Wasn't it the very, January 1st when it was really cold and it snowed a bunch?
Yeah. Like New Year's Day.
Because it, didn't snow all year.
Mm-hmm.
Until January 1st.
Yeah.
So, we're going to just have to make the year better.
We got another snowstorm coming tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm still hoping it just passes by.
No, I want it to snow so bad.
Yeah, no.
Except I wish it would happen on a Tuesday. So we can have a snow day on a Wednesday. Not that I don't want to be at work, Mary Beth. I know you're an avid listener to this podcast. I love being here, but your girl wants a snow day.
Yeah, we haven't had a snow day in quite some time.
And we just bought Nintendo Switches, you guys. So we just want to take a sabbatical and play some Mario Kart.
Quick sabbatical. Mine's coming on Friday.
Mine is already here. I bought mine first, and Jacob wants to be me so bad.
It's true.
He wants to spend every waking moment with me. So he was like, what can we do socially distanced?
The problem is our waking moments are different.
Vastly different sleep schedules. Jacob will send me a meme at 12:30 a.m. and I will respond at 6 a.m. when I wake up, which is usually when he's going to sleep. So
yeah, I try not to send you anything too late. Which is
after 9.
After 9.
Yeah, I am. What is a morning? An early bird. I was thinking of that.
Morning chicken.
Yeah, I was thinking of that. The early bird catches the worm. So I was about to say I'm a morning worm because I couldn't think of what. Oh my gosh. I need a sabbatical. All right.
Just a short one.
But yeah, we bought Nintendo Switches. I love mine so far.
We both have Animal Crossing, so we're going to go pretty wild with that.
Yeah, I've already been practicing. I keep
Only about, 2 years late on the train?
We're really late to the game, but you know what? We like to be fashionably late.
Because they came out right before the pandemic. Because I know...
They must have started it. It was all a marketing scheme.
It must have come out Christmas 2019.
Yeah, that sounds right. And we've heard people talking about it, but we just didn't really know what it was.
Yeah, it was just a whole investment and...
A big investment. They're pricey right now.
Yeah.
The Switches are. You can't, and they're a hot commodity, my friend. You can't find them anywhere.
Yeah, because I've actually been looking for one. I just wanted, whenever I buy something like that, I just want to have it right now.
Yeah, you don't want to wait.
So I wanted to get it in a store. Mm-hmm. And I've been looking in Target and Walmart and Best Buy for over a year.
Yeah.
And not a single time I've walked in has any of them had a Switch.
Because you've really been saying, like, for a year. Like, every time I go into Walmart, I just, like, check and make sure.
Yeah.
And if they have it, I'm going to buy it. And
yeah. Like, it's going to be a spontaneous purchase because if I just see one, I'm going to get it.
Yeah, which never happened.
Never happened.
I honestly, I kind of, like, guilt-tripped my husband. Which I feel like that's a trend in this podcast. I'm always like, my poor husband. Poor Cole. So yeah, he had COVID, was quarantined in our bedroom, and so I was like doing all the housework, which, let's be real, I'm not a housewife. I'm not good at it. I'm just not. I don't have anything else to say about that.
Well, your kids are old enough to take care of themselves.
Yeah, they can carry their own laundry. They've been doing it since they can walk.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you can walk, you can get your clothes and put them away.
It always amazes me how much laundry happens at your house.
Oh my gosh.
I do laundry once a week.
I do laundry
1 load.
every day. 2 loads. Sometimes more. And so I had to take the trash out, which really first world problems. I'm not.
Taking the trash out of your house to the street is the most.
It is grueling. I mean, I feel so bad for people that do that on a regular basis. And it was on like it was when that storm was coming. So it was. No,
yeah,
it was
not,
no, it was not.
It was well after.
I just lied.
Yeah.
It was on a really cold day though. Okay, you guys. It was like
the snow stuck around because it's so cold.
All I know is that my driveway was covered in ice.
Yeah.
It was so cold out, and I had to drag the trash out, and my trash can was frozen shut. So I couldn't put the bags in the can that like rolls out. So I had to manual labor carry the bags. And it just wasn't great. And so I went inside and I was like, oh my God, I had to take the trash out. And my husband was like, okay. And I was like, you should buy me a Switch. And it worked. So you guys.
It's just incredible.
If your spouse gets COVID, guilt trip them and they'll be so delirious. They will buy you a Nintendo Switch. It worked for me. So yeah, I've been playing Animal Crossing, Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, I'm very interested in that.
Yeah.
I did play the very, very old. It might have been the first one. I don't know.
Yeah, this is the third one. I've never played before.
And then the one I played must have been the first one.
Never.
It was a long time ago.
Never even heard of it.
Yeah, not one you hear about in the Mario Luigi canon.
The ghost is what, I love everything spooky.
Yeah.
And someone was like, you should save it for Halloween. I was like,
that's in forever.
That's like 2 years away. Okay. All right. No, thanks. Hard pass.
Well.
Yeah. I mean.
So
not more to say other than that.
We are going to have a lot of fun with that. We have, oh my gosh, we have Monday. It's going to be Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
3-day weekend for us.
Which we don't get too often anymore.
We used to.
Yeah, they changed the way they count holidays so that we're open for the public more often. And we get very few Mondays off now. So
when we get them, we're very excited.
Yeah. And we'll both have our Switches.
The timing could not be better.
Partying on our islands.
I might be able to stay up a little bit later on Sunday night.
Oh, wow.
I'll let you know.
Wow.
You can meet me at my island at 9:25. And I'll be there about to fall asleep.
Well, I'll be awake during the day.
During the day, I have to be a parent.
I don't have work.
I'm just going to ignore my kids, actually. That's what I did last night.
Just make them watch you play.
That is what I've been doing. I should not admit that. And if my kids somehow listen to this, they're going to be so upset. But they're just like, can I play? And I'm like, no. Mm-mm.
They'll get their own Switch eventually.
Mommy couldn't find the one that hooks up to the TV. Sorry, guys. This is all I can find.
They were very difficult to find there for a while.
Yeah. Still are, kids, if you're listening. Can't find them anywhere.
Well, we thought we would start off the new year with some of our... I was going with all-time favorite book recommendations.
I found a couple that are all-time that I'll talk about.
Oh, you've got some all-timers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I've got some all-timers.
Okay.
So all-time favorite books, authors, whatever.
Yeah,
New year, same reading habits. So I'll start. One of my all-time favorite authors is Carrie Winfrey. She writes contemporary romance, which I really got into like last year, I think was when because I was very firmly anti-romance for a long time. And I started reading contemporary romance and I love it. It's like a rom-com.
That's just like set in the current day.
Current time.
Okay.
Modernized.
I know there is like historical romance with the barons.
Not about it. The Duchess in the Tower.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah, no thank you. If you love that, go off, Queen. But like
we've got plenty of it here.
It's not for me. Like Bridgerton, no thank you. So I have been reading Carrie Winfrey for a couple years now, and she came out with a book. Jacob's still laughing about my sound effects over Bridgerton. If you like Bridgerton, like I said, go off, Queen. Like, we support you, but it's just not for me.
Yeah, I feel that.
It's great.
Old-timey stuff is just...
Oh, God. No, thank you. And so Carrie Winfrey's most recent book is called Very Sincerely Yours, but it's like a modernized Mr. Rogers love story.
Mr. Rogers?
Yeah. The beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day in the whatever. Yeah. Yeah, Mr. I'm Never Mad. Yeah. But the main character is like Mr. Rogers, kind of. Like, it's just, it's very cutesy.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, it's very cutesy.
That's the subject of the love story?
No.
Mr.
It
Rogers?
just reminds me of Mr. Rogers.
I know, but the person who's the love interest is the Mr. Rogers type?
Yes, he has like a children's TV show where he like talks to puppets and he wears a lot of sweaters. It's so cute though, you guys. It's the most adorable. She also has a book called Waiting for Tom Hanks, and it's about like how she...
Tom Hanks played Mr. Rogers in that movie.
Plot twist? Oh my gosh. I don't know why I didn't notice that. I'm very unobservant of everything around me. You have to like directly point something out for me if you want me to notice anything. Like, yeah, but it's just, her books are really cute. So highly recommend anything by Carrie Winfrey, but especially her newest, Very Sincerely Yours, Mr. Rogers. I'm just, not that part. Cut that out.
Cut it.
Okay, what's one from you?
Well, I don't read very often for like I don't think I've ever read something that I would call like for entertainment.
Boo.
It's always I really like to, if I read fiction, I want it to be like literature.
You are such a loser.
I just get I like to see the way that people use language.
Sure.
And do new and exciting things and push the boundaries of their expression with their language.
Right.
And that often leads to reading very stark things.
Okay.
Because a lot of the quote-unquote literature is about very serious topics. So oftentimes if I'm going to read a fiction book, I look to two places, which is the Man Booker Prize.
Okay.
Which is, they give to a specific book every year. And it's for like the best novel written in English that year from anywhere in the world, as long as it's in English primarily, not translated.
Okay.
And the other place is the Nobel Prize for Literature. And that's given to authors for like their body of work. So one of them is, based on the book, one's based on the author. And so one of the Nobel Prize authors that I came across when I was in college, her name is Elfriede Jelinek.
Okay.
It is the opposite of a boring book. It is a very, very, very exciting book called The Piano Teacher.
Oh my God.
Which I've probably talked about before to Kelsey.
Probably.
It was also made into a movie of the same name, directed by Michael Haneke. Great movie also.
Doesn't ring a bell.
But Elfriede Jelinek, she got her Nobel Prize. When they gave it to her, they said it was for her musical flow of voices and counter voices. Because she's like a trained pianist.
Okay.
And from some Vienna conservatory. She's from Vienna.
Okay.
In Austria. Very, very strange woman. She is married, and her husband lives in a different city. And she said she said that's the only way that she could marry is if her husband lived in a different city.
Okay.
Now, her book, The Piano Teacher, when they say the musical flow of voices and counter voices, it's very, very accurate. Reading her books, it's translated into English. She writes in German.
Okay.
And big props to the translator, because when you're reading it, it's just such an experience. There's very few chapters. There's very few like line breaks. And it just kind of feels like a fever dream.
Oh my God.
Where you're just and she, there's long bits that kind of flow and there's little short staccato bits. But it's very, very interesting. It's about a piano teacher, an older woman who is intrigued by her young piano student and the psychosexual violence that follows, because she is obsessed with madness and the music of Schumann and Schubert, and as they descended into madness. And it's just about her kind of being really, really, really crazy. But also it's about like the relationship in general between men and women. Very, very interesting book. If you don't want to read the book, great movie. But I highly recommend the book. I've never read something like it where it's just so violent and mean-spirited, and the hatred for men and women all just combined, and it's nonstop. Every single sentence is extreme.
That sounds like a book that would like overwhelm me.
There's a lot of themes that are disturbing, but it's told, like, the way she writes is so beautiful and so non-stop. Like, you can't stop because there's not a place in her writing to stop. It's just constant.
Very interesting.
It's a fascinating book. Highly recommend it. Elfriede Jelinek. It's Jelnik. Jelinek.
Okay.
The Piano Teacher. Now, there's a bunch of things called The Piano Teacher, so you have to find this one.
Okay.
But if you need to, you can look her up. She won the Nobel Prize for Literature in like 2005 or something. Okay. Relatively recent. And she also writes, television shows and movies and all kinds of stuff. Very interesting person.
Sounds.
Fascinating book. The most interesting use of it's almost like poetry. Like it's that poetry prose crossover where it's not anything like any novel you've read before.
Right.
Very interesting. Very, very dark.
Okay.
Highly
switching it up today, because usually I'm like dark and death, and today I'm like, I love rom-coms. So another one that this one is okay. I say it's dark because it circles around death and cancer, so it's very sad and dark in that aspect, but it is the most heartwarming story I've read in a long time. It's called The Gunkle by Stephen Rowley. We are going to soon have this on shelf here because I saw it back in TechServe and I was like, oh my God, I love that book so much. So this book centers around a man named, I think his name was Patrick. Yeah. So Patrick had a best friend, and his best friend ends up passing away. And he is left to care for his best friend's kids after she dies, because the children's father kind of falls into a drug addiction situation. And so he is forced to take over after the death of this woman. And she has 2 young children. They're 6 and 9 years old. And he is a retired actor. He had been on soap operas and things like that. He is a gay male, and so he calls himself GUP, which I believe stood for, Gay Uncle Patrick is what these
Okay.
kids called him.
Gup.
And so these kids have to go and they move to, it's like California or Florida or something, somewhere warm. And they're like shipped away to live with Gup. And he is forced to become a parent and has no idea what he's doing because, like I said, he's like a washed up actor that's been living this crazy, lavish, single life forever. And now suddenly he's a parent. And it is so funny and sad. And just
The full range of emotions.
yeah, I was like laughing and crying and whatever, but it was one of my favorite books that I've read in a very long time. And I think it was being made into a movie.
Oh, I was gonna say, I feel like I've heard in just like general.
Yeah, I can't
Of this
find. Usually it says on Goodreads like soon to be a
Major motion
major
picture.
motion picture, The Gunkle by Stephen Rowley. But no, it doesn't say that on here. But I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere, unless that was a fever dream.
That happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe I was like, hey, there should be a movie. And I just always think I'm right. Which is also very likely. So yeah, The Gunkle by Stephen Rowley. Highly recommend it. And like I said, we'll have it soon on our shelves. So pick it up at a library near you. I almost said store. Please don't go to the store. Come to the library. Okay. Your turn.
Well, my next recommendation, the author won the Nobel Prize for literature, and he was the first person to ever have 2 books win the Man Booker Prize.
Mm-hmm.
And all of his books are very interesting. He's kind of going off the rails these days with the absurdity. Super fun. His name is J.M. Coetzee. J.M. are his initials, and then Coetzee's Coetzee.
Mm-hmm.
He is from South Africa, and he is a white man from South Africa that grew up during apartheid. And he is a professor these days of English, but he's been a writer for some time. And actually, all of his books are good, but the one that I think is the most interesting, he's got one called Diary of a Bad Year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's after his super famous Man Booker Prize-winning one, so it's kind of when he started going a little wild and just doing whatever he wanted.
Sure.
And it is, again, it's like very experimental, very different, where the idea of the book is that there's it's essentially like him, so an old writer that's been given all of the awards in the world,
Sure.
has been asked to write a book about his opinions on things.
Mm-hmm.
Some publisher came to him and said, you just come up with things, write down your opinions, and we'll publish it as a book. So he divides it into soft opinions and hard opinions.
Mm-hmm.
And so soft opinions are things like how you should cook eggs. And then hard opinions are like on terrorism. Things like that.
That's a
So
big jump.
Yeah, see, that's why he divides them.
Okay. Eggs to terrorism.
And I don't know if eggs is in there, but I know on terrorism was one of them.
Sure.
It was pretty interesting. So in the way this book is divided is that like on each page, in the top third of it,
Mm-hmm.
is the book he's writing. So you go through the soft opinions and then the hard opinions, and he's just this fictional writer is
Mm-hmm.
giving their opinions on all of these things
Okay.
in the top third.
Sure.
And then the middle third is the writer's inner monologue
Mm-hmm.
and his thoughts day to day. And in the bottom third, he's an old man, so he has to hire a typist.
My God.
And so the bottom third is his female typist's inner monologue.
Okay.
And they're all separated in time, where like the opinions are something he wrote a little bit ago,
Mm-hmm.
and then his ideas are like in the present, and her ideas are in the future, and they're always just a little bit off in time.
Okay.
But as you're reading it, like you get to the end of that bit of the strong opinion,
Mm-hmm.
it just keeps like it's the middle of a sentence. It goes on to the next page.
Oh, okay.
But right below that is the other third,
You're
the other
right.
2/3 for the other opinions. So you kind of have to choose how you're going to read the book. If you're going to read the whole fictional book first,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of his thoughts, and then all of her thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
or if you're going to read it straight down the page,
Right.
or if you're going to read it chapter by chapter.
Ugh.
So it's very, very interesting.
Everything you read is like way too deep.
It's just fun.
You just need to read Bridgerton or something.
Yeah.
And just like not think for a little bit.
Well, see, if I want to not, that's why I said I don't read for entertainment.
Right.
Like if I want to not think, I'm watching TV.
Sure.
I'm playing video games. If I want to read something,
Right.
it's like I want to experience. It's like art. Like I want to see something pushing the boundaries. And then way in the future, that's going to be like a normal thing that people do all the time.
Right.
But I would like to see those very experimental new ways of thinking about language.
I think you're just smarter than most of us.
Well,
That too.
but this one's very accessible because it's more just about it. With Kutza's writing, with the other lady, it's just super intense and there's crazy stuff happening and hard words to remember. With Kutza, he writes very, very clearly.
Okay.
And very simply. There's no big words. He's not trying to confuse you at any point.
Mm-hmm.
He's like where she is doing more of a thing with language and the poetry and prose. He's doing more with like the structure of stories.
Okay.
And making them interesting.
Sounds way too deep for me.
It's very fun. Very fun. Highly recommend Diary of a Bad Year. Or anything by Kutza. But that one in particular is very fun to read.
Well, my last recommendation is not deep. Takes zero thought to read.
The Bachelor.
The Bachelor
book form.
Tell-All. What if I was like Mean Girls, the graphic novel? The most inspiring piece of literature I've ever read. Okay. Actually, it's A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. So this is a young adult thriller series. It's a 3-book series that recently came out. I think the first one was published in 2020? 2019.
Ooh.
So, but it is about a high school student who has a podcast. It's like a true crime.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So it's a true crime podcast, and she is trying to solve like a local murder and gets like knee deep in said murder because she personally knows these people. She went to school with them. And it just kind of started off like she was like a true crime fan and podcast fan and decided to dive in. And yeah.
There was that TV show just recently with Selena Gomez and Steve Martin and Martin Short.
Yep.
Murder in the Building?
Murder in the...
Something like that?
Murder
where
in
they
the
were like
his
true
house.
crime.
Yeah, I
victims.
don't know what it's called.
Only Murders in the Building.
Only Murderers.
Something like that.
Why do I...
It just sounds very...
Murderers.
Very like a similar concept.
Okay, well, I've never watched that, so maybe I should.
True crime fans trying to solve a real murder.
Yeah, so it's a great series. I honestly didn't love the last book like I thought I would.
Is it over?
Mm-hmm.
Like 3 books and it's done?
Yeah, I think she's finished. But the first 2 are fantastic. It's just a great series, so I recommend it to everybody who likes young adult, specifically thrillers, because it's just so well written. And it's, contemporary with the podcast situation, because true crime podcasts are all the rage.
All the rage.
It's all I listen to.
They take our listeners.
I know. All of you that went to My Favorite Murder. Thanks. So yeah, those are my recommendations.
Well, my last recommendation is Anything at All Ever by Franz Kafka. Franz Kafka is my favorite writer of all time. Everybody knows The Metamorphosis. Blah, blah, blah. Who cares? It's a good one.
I don't.
But, well.
I love rom-coms.
It's by far, like, if you've heard of him, you know The Metamorphosis.
Okay.
But he has a whole lot of stuff that was unfinished short stories and unpublished works that were saved by his friend. He wanted everything he ever wrote to be burned. And his friend,
Me too.
When he died. And his friend went, nope, and put it in a suitcase and published it all.
What a jerk.
Well, We're very thankful for him.
No.
We're very thankful
You
for
just
him.
ruined all of this.
Well, we would only have like one story from Franz Kafka.
But that's not what he wanted. What a terrible friend.
Well,
Whoever you are, I hope you're listening.
Here's the thing. Franz Kafka's entire life was torture. So
yeah, and maybe he didn't want that out in the public.
It's because he thought he was a bad writer. So luckily, his friend, I believe his name was Max Brod, did not think he was a bad writer, kept everything he ever wrote, and published it all after his death. Very young of tuberculosis. Long time ago.
Oh, so Max or whatever his name is dead now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh. I was about to go look
I'm
him
going
up
to
on...
throw out a guess. I don't know exactly when Franz Kafka was alive, but it was, late 1800s to early 1900s.
Oh, I was about to go look him up online and like send him a hate letter.
No. These people are all well dead. But everyone knows the Metamorphosis, so there's no thing to talk about there. But some of his short stories, there's two that I can think: The Country Doctor,
okay,
and then also In the Penal Colony. And they're like, I don't know, 10 to 20 pages tops, but they're just fascinating. And he was a big inspiration for both of the other people that I talked about earlier.
Okay.
They are, in fact, Kutza, the last chapters of one of his more famous books is a retelling of one of Kafka's stories.
Oh, okay.
And then, everyone, Haruki Murakami is a big author these days. He's highly inspired by Kafka. Kafka's amazing. You just have to read it because I literally cannot explain
what it is.
It's that fever dream, nightmare, but not a nightmare, everyday life, but not everyday life.
You just love like obscure.
It's not obscure.
Bizarre. Random. Rambling.
It is rambling.
Crazy.
I will give you it's rambling and crazy.
Stuff.
But it is not obscure. People know Franz Kafka. And but his short stories are really great. And I have to give a shout out if there's one really random thing you should read from him. It's a letter he wrote to his father, which was saved. And it's the saddest thing
I don't want to.
You will ever read in your entire life.
I don't.
The one thing I remember from it specifically is because his father was like a very big on punishment.
Ew.
And he wrote something along the lines of, you would take me out to the noose, put the noose around my neck, and then take it off and send me back inside every day. And not executing me was worse. Like the fear and terror of you being able to flip the switch at any time.
Good Lord.
Was worse than just killing me.
Oh my God.
In a much more eloquent way.
I take it back. I'm going to send hate mail to that guy's dad. To his grave. But I'll find like a 16th cousin and send a letter to her. And be like, hey.
I'm sure someone from the Kafka's family is still alive.
And listening.
Yep.
To this podcast.
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, that was a little fun recap.
Yeah. Just read anything by Kafka. He's got stories that are 3 sentences long.
Or Bridgerton.
You said you don't like Bridgerton.
I know, it's the only thing I can think of right now.
Well, since we were talking about our favorite books, we went ahead and looked up some book quizzes that were like, what are your general impression or reading habits kind of.
Are we going to do
quizzes.
The book lovers one?
I think we should do first the are your book opinions trash or nah?
Okay. We already know the answer for me because everything I like is trash.
Well, this is from BuzzFeed, so you
don't
might
agree with me because BuzzFeed is also trash. Okay. How do you arrange your bookshelves? Nope. Read that wrong.
How do you arrange your books on shelves?
Same thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
In color order, alphabetical order by the author's last name, in alphabetical order by title, in size order, in whatever order I shelve them in there, question mark. That's stupid. I have my own method that I'll explain in the comments.
What do you do?
Literally nothing. I just throw them on the shelf.
Yeah, if I don't have enough, I have a lot of books, but not enough that I don't know where one is.
I have to go
so they're just sitting there.
I have to go with the stupid answer.
Which was the in whatever order
Yeah.
I store them.
Which is the majority of people.
I have my own, for the ones I have at work, I do have my own method. So I'm going to go with that.
I don't. 27% of people said the stupid answer.
I was at 23% with I have my own method.
Okay. Do you prefer reading physical books or an e-reader?
I still haven't read an ebook.
So I prefer physical books, so I'll push that, but I do love a good ebook.
Yeah. 91. This has 122,000 people have said they prefer physical books.
That's crazy.
91%. That's a lot of people took this quiz.
Do you read the last page of a book before you start it? No.
Why on earth would I do that?
Ask Shirley Blakeney the next time you see her. Everyone who listens.
That was 80%.
20% of people say they do.
I have heard people say that.
That's insane.
And I feel like it's the people that do the reading for entertainment.
Yeah, because I just talked to Shirley about this like 2 weeks ago because I was like, did you read blah, blah, blah? And she was like, I tried. I haven't finished it yet. I think I'll read the last page. And I was like, what? Why would you do that?
It just makes no sense to me.
Oh, well, all right. Don't lie. Do you dog your book pages?
I don't.
I do.
Like, just for like a bookmark?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because I can get that, but I'll just like find literally whatever and shove it in the book.
59% of people said, how dare you ask me a question like that? No. And you guys are liars. Everyone does that. You've never done it.
Not with like a fiction book that I was reading.
That's so weird.
I just,
Please don't do that with library books, though. Ugh. Do it to your own bookshelf that you shelve however you want. Question mark. Okay. Do you prefer fiction or nonfiction?
That's hard.
It's not.
Prefer?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have I like them both if they're good. I prefer good.
You prefer nonfiction. I'm going to answer for you.
I would, if I read a book.
You and 14% of other people.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I like fiction. I just want it to be good.
Sure.
Like Kutza.
And obscure.
Or Jelinek.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're not obscure.
Do you reread books you really loved?
I've reread parts of books.
Oh, yeah.
Gone back and looked at passages.
Yeah.
I think I've read, what's that? Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol.
Mm-hmm.
I've had to read that like 3 times for school.
Yeah.
Which was unbearable.
Right.
But I do like to go back and reread at least parts of books.
Okay.
And so did 85%.
I believe it.
Of the 130,000 people.
I'm rereading Stay Sexy and Don't Get Murdered. Which is
do you reread like front to back?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you bring books to read on the toilet?
No.
Absolutely. 50%, but not a library book.
50-50.
I know.
Huh. Yeah, holding the book.
Sure.
It's just a lot.
Do you say you read a book if you listened to it as an audiobook? Yes.
I've never listened to an audiobook.
I will die on this hill.
And I feel like my answer, because of how I like to read, would be no.
Okay, you're wrong.
I listened to the book.
You're wrong. And 67% of people are wrong. It is the same thing.
The majority of people, 2/3 of people.
You guys are wrong. All
say
right.
that it's not the same thing.
What do you like more? The way books smell or a pretty book cover?
Oh, cover.
Cover.
Easy. Oh, how is that 52 and 48%?
You guys have clearly never worked in a library.
52% like the way they smell.
Wrong.
That's very strange.
Do you buy most books or get them at the library?
I buy
You're fired. I get mine at the library with 26% of people.
That's great.
Honestly.
26% of people that took a book quiz.
All right.
You know?
Do you read more than one book at a time?
I have no problem with that.
Yes, I always do. 48% of people. That's almost a tie.
Half and half.
How does this make you feel? And it says on the cover, it's a cover of The Giver by Lois Lowry. And it says, it's pointing at now a major motion picture and
some kind of award.
Includes exclusive Q&A with Taylor Swift.
Now, I hate movie book covers.
I hate it.
I want you to give me a good book cover.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I don't want to see the actors. I want to see the original art. I hate it.
Dang. 58% said make it stop.
Yep.
Which is a sadly low number because I really, really do hate it.
I hate it so much. Well, that was fun. This was a fun episode.
Yeah, we're just kind of, vibing today.
We didn't really have a plan.
We didn't have much. It's been super busy for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
So, except for we love you all, and please come in and make us busy.
Please continue to make us more busy.
And we will pre-plan and make better content now that we know we're getting busy again.
Every listener we have equates for 10 minutes of prep time for the podcast. So thank you, Mary Beth, for the one listen. All right.
We can't shout out Mary Beth twice in one episode.
Sure we can. Reviews are coming up. And on that note.
All right. We will see you in the month of love.
Bye.
Bye.